Hey everybody, and welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we're tackling a big one. Uh, the question that's probably on everyone's mind these days is AI gonna take over front-end engineering? I mean, are we all about to be out of a job?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah, for real. We've got a ton of articles and research we dug up on this, and we're gonna break it all down for you today. So you can cut through all the hype and really understand what's actually going on.
Sounds good. I think a lot of folks are feeling that anxiety right now, especially with all the crazy advancements we've seen in AI lately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of these articles talks about AI actually building websites just from descriptions.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that too. It's pretty wild what they can do these days.
Is this for real? That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not quite at the level of snapping your fingers and having a fully functional website appear out of thin air.
Right.
But some of these new tools are getting pretty darn close.
Okay, so what kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, one that comes to mind is Lovable.dev.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing some really interesting stuff with AI-powered website generation.
Lovable.dev. Okay, I haven't heard of that one. What's so special about it?
So basically, you can describe what you want your website to look like using plain English.
Mm-hmm.
And the AI uses that to build out the basic structure and layout for you.
Whoa. Wait, so I could just say something like, I want a website with a big hero image and a call to action button and some testimonials.
Yeah, pretty much. You can even get more specific with color schemes, fonts, stuff like that.
No way.
Yeah, and then the AI will generate the code for you based
Wow.
on your description.
So you're telling me I can basically just talk to the computer and it'll build my website? That is crazy.
It is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. It's really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with AI.
I bet. So what's the catch? There's got to be a catch, right? I mean, it can't be that easy.
Well, you're right. It's not a magic bullet. It works really well for simple projects like landing pages or basic websites. But for more complex applications, you'll still need a developer to come in and refine the code, customize it, and make sure everything works the way it's supposed to.
Right. So it's not like AI is going to put us all out of a job tomorrow.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I think it's more about changing the way we work. Imagine if you could free up all that time you normally spend on basic layout and styling.
Right.
And you could just focus on the more complex, interesting stuff.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So it's more like AI is going to be our superpowered assistant, helping us get stuff done faster and better.
I think that's a great way to put it. And Lovable.dev isn't the only one doing cool things in this space either. You've also got tools like Bolt.new, which focuses more on UI components and layouts.
Bolt.new. Okay. So how does that one work?
It uses these super smart algorithms that combine natural language processing and deep learning.
Okay.
To understand your design descriptions and translate them into code. It's a huge time saver, especially for those repetitive tasks that can really bog you down.
Yeah, writing the same code over and over again for every button or drop-down menu. Ugh, I can relate to that.
Exactly. So you can see how these tools are already changing the game for front-end engineers, right?
Yeah, definitely. But it makes you wonder, where do humans still fit in all this? If AI can do all this crazy stuff, are we even needed anymore?
That's a really good question. And to be honest, that's something a lot of people in our field are grappling with right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think there are certain things that AI just can't replicate. At least not yet.
Okay, so what are those things? What makes us, human front-end engineers still valuable in this AI-powered world?
Well, one of the biggest things is accessibility. AI can help with basic accessibility checks, but it really struggles with more nuanced issues like cognitive load or designing for users with specific disabilities.
Yeah, right. You can't just throw some alt text on an image and call it a day.
Exactly. It takes human empathy and domain expertise to create truly inclusive experiences for everyone.
I mean, you got to think about all the different ways people interact with websites, right?
Right, exactly. Some folks might use screen readers. Some might navigate with a keyboard. Some might have low vision or be colorblind. You need to be aware of all those things when you're designing and building a website.
Mm-hmm.
And AI just isn't there yet when it comes to understanding those nuances.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like AI is more of a tool to help us with accessibility, not a replacement for human expertise.
Exactly. And that's really the key takeaway here, I think.
Okay.
AI is a powerful tool, but it's not a replacement for human intelligence, creativity, or problem-solving skills.
It's like AI can help us build the car, but we're still the ones behind the wheel, right?
Uh-huh. I like that analogy.
Thanks. So you're saying we're still the ones making the big decisions, figuring out how to solve complex problems, and making sure the website not only looks good, but actually works the way it's supposed to. So AI isn't our enemy. It's more like, I don't know, like a partner.
I think that's a great way to look at it. It's about collaboration, not competition.
Yeah. We each bring our own strengths to the table. AI can handle the repetitive tasks, the grunt work,
Yeah,
and we can focus on the big picture, the creative stuff, the human element.
exactly. And that human element is really important, especially when it comes to things like, teamwork and communication.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, have you ever tried to explain a complex design concept to an AI?
Uh-huh. No, I haven't had that pleasure yet.
Yeah, good luck with that. Like, I don't know, not that shade of blue. It needs to evoke a sense of tranquility and trust, but also, like, have a hint of rebellious energy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see how that would be a challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
AI might be able to generate code, but it's not quite there yet when it comes to understanding, like, human emotions and creative vision.
Totally agree.
Okay, before we get too deep into the philosophical side of things, let's talk about some of the other AI tools that are out there.
Okay, sounds good. What did you have in mind?
Well, we talked about Lovable.dev and Bolt.new, but what about things like Wix ADI and Figma AI?
Oh, yeah, those are great examples, too. Wix ADI, which stands for Artificial Design Intelligence, can actually generate an entire website for you based on, a few questions and inputs.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So, like, you just answer a few questions about what you want your website to be about, and boom, you've got a website.
Pretty much.
Right.
Of course, it's not going to be as customized or sophisticated as something you'd get from, a professional web developer.
Right.
But it's a great option for people who need a simple website up and running quickly.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially for, like, small businesses or individuals who don't have the budget to hire a developer. So is that, like, a threat to our jobs then?
I don't think so. I see it more as like another tool in our toolkit. Like for those simple, straightforward websites, Wix ADI is a fantastic solution. But for anything more complex, you're still going to need a human developer to come in and fine-tune things, add custom features, optimize performance, all that good stuff.
Right, right. So even when AI can seemingly do the whole thing, there's still a need for that human touch.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about Figma AI? What's that all about?
So Figma AI is more on the design side of things.
Okay.
It can suggest design elements, generate color palettes, and help you create layouts faster. It's a great tool for both designers and developers because it can really streamline the design process.
So it's like having an AI design partner, bouncing ideas back and forth and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, exactly. And just like with Wix ADI, it's not about replacing human creativity, but about augmenting it, making us more efficient and helping us come up with ideas we might not have thought of on our own.
Okay. Now what about those other big ones that are like making headlines everywhere? GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, those are big ones. They're more on the developer side of things, like you said.
Okay, so are those gonna take our coding jobs?
Well, they're definitely causing some waves in the industry.
Okay, tell me more.
So GitHub Copilot is like an AI-powered coding assistant. It can generate code snippets for you, help you debug your code, even write documentation.
Wait, what? Write documentation?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's like having a pair programmer who's always there to help you out.
That would be amazing. I mean, documentation is like the worst part of coding. So how does it work? Like, does it actually understand what you're trying to do?
It's pretty impressive, actually. It uses machine learning to analyze your code and the context of what you're working on. And then it suggests code completions, functions, even entire blocks of code. It can really speed up your workflow and help you avoid those silly syntax errors that we all make from time to time.
That sounds amazing.
It is pretty cool. And then you have ChatGPT, which is more of a general purpose language model.
Okay, so what can it do for front-end engineers?
Well, it could do a lot of the same things as GitHub Copilot, like generating code and helping with debugging.
Right.
But it can also do things like write blog posts, create marketing copy, even translate languages.
Wow, it sounds like ChatGPT is like a Swiss Army knife for developers. So these tools, are they actually going to replace us?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
But they're definitely going to change the way we work. And the sooner we start adapting to these changes, the better off we'll be.
So, what should we be doing to prepare?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's important to become AI literate.
AI literate. What does that even mean?
It means understanding how these AI tools work, what their capabilities and limitations are, and how they can be used to enhance our skills as developers.
Okay, so like we don't need to become AI experts, but we should at least have a basic understanding of what's going on under the hood.
Exactly.
So how do we do that? Like, where do we even start?
Well, there are tons of resources available online. You can read articles, watch videos, take online courses. There are even some great communities and forums where you can connect with other developers who are exploring AI.
Sounds like a good place to start, but I'm still kind of curious, like, what does the future of front-end engineering look like in this, AI-powered world? Like, what should we be focusing on? What new opportunities are going to emerge?
Ooh, those are great questions. And I think those are exactly the kind of questions we need to be asking ourselves right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit scary, right? Like, what if we wake up one day and our jobs are gone?
I get it. It's definitely a time of uncertainty, but I also think it's a time of incredible opportunity. Like we were saying earlier, AI isn't going to replace us. It's going to augment us. It's going to give us superpowers.
I like that, superpowers. Okay, so before we dive into the future, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll explore how this partnership between humans and AI is going to shape the front-end landscape in some pretty amazing ways. Stay tuned.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So before the break, we were kind of freaking out about AI, taking over the world, haha, but it sounds like it's not going to be that bad, right?
Yeah, I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah,
Okay, good. So it's more like AI is going to be this like awesome sidekick, helping us level up our skills and achieve more than we ever could alone.
That's the idea. Like, instead of spending hours on those tedious, repetitive tasks, AI can kind of take care of the grunt work. And that frees us up to focus on the more creative, strategic, human-centered aspects of our work. The stuff that AI just can't do.
Yeah, totally. Like we can finally focus on like solving those really complex problems and designing those amazing user experiences that make people go, wow.
Exactly. And, that's what really gets me excited about this whole AI thing. It's not about replacing humans. It's about empowering us to do what we do best.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit more optimistic about all this, but I gotta ask, do you see any potential downsides? Like, are there any challenges we need to be mindful of as we move forward with all this AI integration?
That's a really great question. And yeah, there are definitely some things we need to be careful about.
Okay, like what?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the potential for over-reliance on AI tools.
Yeah, I can see how that could be a problem. Like, what if we become so dependent on these tools that we forget how to do things ourselves?
Exactly. It's like if you're always using a calculator, you might forget how to do basic math in your head.
Right, right. So we need to make sure we're using these AI tools to enhance our skills, not replace them entirely.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
It's all about striking that balance, using AI to our advantage while still maintaining our own expertise and critical thinking skills.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the future. Like, what can our listeners do to, stay ahead of the curve in this crazy AI-powered world? What skills should they be focusing on? What should they be learning?
Okay, so if I had to pick just one thing, I'd say AI literacy is going to be absolutely crucial moving forward.
AI literacy. Okay, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but can you break that down for us? What does that actually mean?
Sure. So basically it means having a solid understanding of how AI works, what it can do, and more importantly, what it can't do.
Okay.
It's about understanding the capabilities and limitations of these tools so you can use them effectively and responsibly.
So we don't need to be AI experts, but we should at least have a basic understanding of, the concepts and the terminology.
Exactly. And luckily, there are tons of resources available online to help you get up to speed.
Awesome. So start reading articles, watching videos, maybe taking some online courses.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to experiment. Download some of these AI tools and just play around with them. See what they can do.
Okay, so that's AI literacy. What else? Are there any other essential skills that front-end engineers should be focusing on?
Absolutely. In fact, I'd argue that those human skills, things like creativity, problem solving, communication, are going to become even more valuable in an AI-powered world.
Yeah, I can see that. AI might be able to generate code, but it can't come up with those innovative solutions to complex problems or understand the nuances of user behavior or empathize with a client's needs.
Exactly. Those are all things that require human intelligence, intuition, and empathy. And those are skills that AI just can't replicate, at least not yet.
So it's the more technology advances, the more important our human skills become.
I think that's a really insightful way to put it. It's like a paradox, but it's true. And that's why I think it's so important for front engineers to focus on developing those soft skills alongside their technical skills.
So how do we do that? Like, how do we actually get better at those, squishy human skills?
Well, there's no magic formula, but I think it starts with being aware of your own strengths and weaknesses and then actively seeking out opportunities to grow and learn.
Okay, so like push yourself outside your comfort zone, try new things, experiment, fail, and learn from your mistakes.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to collaborate with others.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like work on projects with other people, get feedback, bounce ideas around.
Yeah. And don't underestimate the power of just observing how people interact with technology and with each other.
Okay, so pay attention to the details, think critically about how design decisions impact people and emotions and behaviors, and try to understand what makes people tick.
You got it. The more you understand about human nature, the better equipped you'll be to design intuitive, engaging, and accessible experiences.
And that's something that AI just can't do, right?
Not yet, anyway. So yeah, I think the future of front-end engineering is actually pretty bright. Yeah.
Okay, I'm liking what I'm hearing. But let's be real for a second. This whole AI thing, it's still kind of scary, right? Like, what if we wake up one day and our jobs are gone? What if we're all replaced by robots?
I get it. It's a valid fear. But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, good.
Like we've been talking about, AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for human ingenuity, creativity, or problem-solving skills. And I think the sooner we embrace that, the sooner we can start focusing on how to use this technology to our advantage.
Okay, so you're saying that instead of viewing AI as a threat, we should see it as an opportunity to redefine the way we work, learn new skills, and maybe even discover new passions we never knew we had.
Exactly. It's about embracing the future and shaping it to our advantage. AI isn't going away. It's here to stay. The question is, are we going to be passive bystanders, or are we going to be active participants in shaping how AI is used and how it impacts our lives?
That's a really empowering way to look at it. It's not about clinging to the past, but about looking ahead and seeing the potential for something truly amazing.
I couldn't agree more. We're at a pivotal moment in history. AI has the potential to revolutionize not just the way we work, but the way we live, learn, and interact with the world around us. And I think it's up to us to make sure that revolution is a positive one.
Okay, I'm officially feeling pumped about the future. But before we get too carried away, let's bring things back down to earth for a second. We've talked a lot about, the big picture stuff, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on, like, the more practical side of things. If you had to give our listeners just one piece of advice, one actionable step they could take today to prepare for this AI-powered future, what would it be?
That's a tough one. But if I had to pick just one thing, I'd say pick one AI tool that seems interesting to you, whether it's Lovable.dev, Bolt.new, ChatGPT, or something else entirely, and just dive in.
Okay, dive in.
Yeah, like play around with it, experiment, see what it can do. You'll be amazed at how quickly you start to understand the potential of these tools and how they can fit into your workflow. And who knows, you might even discover a new passion or talent you never knew you had.
That's great advice. It's all about getting your hands dirty, trying things out, and embracing that learning curve.
Exactly. Like, don't be afraid to fail. That's how we learn and grow.
So true. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of AI and front-end engineering. We've covered so much ground, from the mind-blowing capabilities of AI tools to the importance of nurturing those uniquely human skills that will set us apart in this evolving landscape. And you know what? I'm actually feeling pretty optimistic about the future.
Me too. I think it's going to be an exciting ride.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can all achieve together.
And to all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. What aspects of your work do you think AI will transform in the coming years? Are you excited, nervous, or maybe a bit of both? Share your thoughts on our social media channels. We'd love to keep this conversation going.
Absolutely. The more we talk about these issues, the better prepared we'll be to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create together. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep. And building on that, what skills should you be developing now to stay ahead of the curve? It's not just about reacting to the changes AI brings, but, proactively preparing for a future where human ingenuity and AI capabilities work hand in hand.
Yeah, that's the real challenge, right? To be proactive, not reactive. If we can anticipate how these tools are going to evolve, we can, position ourselves to really leverage their power.
Okay, so to sum it all up, we're not headed for some robot apocalypse where AI takes over all the jobs.
No, definitely not.
Okay, good. Instead, we're like entering this new era where AI is more like a collaborator, helping us level up our skills and do things we couldn't do before. It's a pretty exciting time to be a front-end engineer.
Totally. I mean, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty surrounding AI, but I also think there's just like a lot of opportunity. We have the chance to like redefine the way we work, focus on the parts of our jobs that are, most fulfilling, and to create truly amazing experiences for users.
Yeah, I love that positive outlook. But let's get practical for a minute. If you had to give our listeners just one piece of advice, one, actionable step they could take today to prepare for this AI-powered future, what would it be?
That's a tough one. But if I had to pick just one thing, I'd say pick one AI tool that seems interesting to you, whether it's Level.dev, Bolt.new, ChatGPT, or something else, entirely, and just dive in.
Okay, dive in.
Play around with it, experiment, see what it can do. I think you'll be amazed at how quickly you start to understand the potential of these tools and how they can fit into your workflow. And who knows, you might discover a new passion or talent you never knew you had.
That's great advice. It's all about getting your hands dirty, trying things out, and embracing that learning curve. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of AI and front-end engineering. We've covered so much ground, from the mind-blowing capabilities of AI tools to the importance of nurturing those uniquely human skills that'll set us apart in this evolving landscape. And you know what? I'm actually feeling pretty optimistic about the future.
Me too. I think it's going to be an exciting ride. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can all achieve, together.
And to all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. What aspects of your work do you think AI will transform in the coming years? Are you excited, nervous, or maybe a bit of both? Share your thoughts on our social media channels. We'd love to keep this conversation going.
Absolutely. The more we talk about these issues, the better prepared we'll be to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create together. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.